Hello and welcome to Who Watches Who, a Doctor Who podcast with me, Matthew, and as always, I am joined with...
Hello, it's Scott, and it's been a while. We haven't
It has.
done a podcast since last year. Haha.
Wow, so funny. It has. We took a week off earlier than we were planning. We were originally planning on having this week off and on last week, and instead we were off last week and had this week on. Joys.
Mainly because you were ill, and you still are.
Yeah, I still am. I still have a cough. Yeah, it sucks, but I'm not as ill as I was.
Last week you sent me a voice clip, and you just sounded like Nolan's Batman. It was insane.
It was awful. Really not good at all. But it's been okay. We've had a nice little week off, and there's not been too much Doctor Who news. Although some of the Doctor Who news we've got has been fucking very big. You know, as far as Russell T Davies drip feeding us information goes, it's been an exciting time.
We are sucking at his teat at the moment.
We are. I think probably the most exciting is what we're opening this news episode with, which is a brand new fucking trailer for the 60th anniversary, which is fucking wild because it's like a year away still. I can't believe we have like a full-on trailer as well. It's like a full proper trailer.
Yeah, on Christmas Eve we got like about 5-second teaser trailer of Neil Patrick Harris saying welcome to the world premiere, and we were like, holy shit. Some people were thinking we were getting a full episode on Christmas Day, which was fucking wild. I don't understand how people are so clueless when it comes to broadcasting. Like, we would just schedule an unannounced Christmas special.
People just
minute.
I think people just like getting themselves excited about stuff. You know, I don't know how many people really believed an episode was coming out, but I think people like the excitement of thinking an episode was coming out, and they just like getting caught up in the drama of it all.
I did buy into the hype a little bit, I must admit. I did think for like 2 seconds, maybe we're getting a short. You know, like a little toy maker short starring Neil Patrick Harris. You know, and there could be like a Santa Claus reference, because a toy maker rivalry with with Santa Claus would have been amazing. But, we got a trailer, and it was pretty cool to see Doctor Who on Christmas Day for the first time since 2017.
It was, and it like a proper awesome looking trailer as well. It was fucking fantastic. Neil Patrick Harris looks like a million bucks. It's wild that he's in Doctor Who now. He's such a big star. So the trailer itself it feels very much like a sequel to season 4, doesn't it?
That's kind of what I'm most worried about, because we just covered The End of Time Part 1 and 2, and it feels like there's no in-between space. It doesn't feel like there was a Matt Smith era, Peter Capaldi era. It just feels like the last... How many seasons? Like,
God, so many.
9 seasons? If you watch this trailer and you think the last 9 seasons didn't really happen, like it was all a dream, kind of, and that's kind of what I was afraid of coming into Russell T Davies' new era with 60th anniversary specials. But I still have confidence that Russell is doing this for a reason.
Yeah, I still think it's still going to be good. It does play into the fear that I had when we were even talking about the rumors of David Tennant coming back, where it's like, you know, what the fuck was the point of the other Doctors if we're just going to ignore them now that David Tennant's back? But that being said, a sequel to season 4 doesn't seem like a bad thing, you know, if it's just for these little 4 episodes. Yeah. Because season 4 is a fun season, and this looks like it's going to be a fun sequel. You know, we were thinking, like, how are they going to deal with their whole Rose thing? Are they just going to ignore the fact that her mind's going to explode? And it doesn't seem so. It seems like that's going to be a major plot point, is that that fucking Donna is not able to remember the Doctor. Like, that seems like a huge plot point. Also, something else that we need to talk about, which is something that we were yet again right about, like this time last year when we were talking about rumors, and that's Beep the Meep. Beep the
Yes.
Meep is confirmed to be in this episodes. I don't know if he's going to be in multiple or just the one, but he is in it. He is in the trailer. If you're not familiar with who Beep the Meep is, Scott, why don't you remind us?
Oh God. I guess he's like a little rodent creature that is kind of, I would say he's kind of like the Mask. He kind of breaks the fourth wall in comic books anyway. He kind of acknowledges the viewer or reader. He's kind of like Deadpool in a way.
Yeah, he's also like a huge like mobster, like straight up like gangster murderous mobster man. And the bug guys are like space cops or something. But so far,
Yeah, they're kind of like pre-Jadoon, kind of.
yeah. Whereas in the trailer, however, Beep the Meep is calling them monsters, and he seems to be playing innocent. However, Beep the Meep, we know what you really are. We know we know you.
I'm kind of tempted to do a video on Beep the Meep's history because I know very little about Beep the Meep other than a comic book I happened to read where it kind of invades an alternative reality. It's an Eighth Doctor storyline.
Yes.
And Beep the Meep kind of opens a portal to the BBC in another universe. And he sees Tom Baker, the actor, not the Doctor. And he gets distracted because Tom Baker looks like the Doctor. And he's like, oh my God, you're here. And then Tom Baker just starts rambling about nonsense and distracts him while the Eighth Doctor saves the day.
Fantastic. What a brilliant comic.
It's insane.
It sounds fantastic.
But one thing we should say is Beep the Meep is seemingly voiced by Miriam Margolyes, which is interesting.
That is
which
interesting.
we were hoping that she'd be like an old person that's in like Wilf's retirement home or something. But obviously she's voicing Beep the Meep, which is I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be great.
It is. Also, the design of Beep the Meep and the design of the bug guys is like perfect. Like it is like a perfect design for these creatures. And that's also another thing is that the CGI is already looking fucking superb for this season.
Yes.
Which is something that Doctor Who has desperately needed for quite some time now, with some decent looking effects again.
You know, they shot this like 16 months in advance. It's gonna look like cinematic levels. It's gonna be it's gonna look like Power of the Doctor because they just have so much time to work on it, and they can just work on it without dealing with all this stress of doing like last minute stuff. So that's gonna be great. Seemingly there's gonna be like my theory is there's gonna be like an ET kind of aspect to it where Rose, Donna's daughter, kind of meets Meep the Meep. Meep the Beep.
Beep the Meep.
And kind of wants to protect it from the alien Wrath Warriors.
That's the vibe I was getting as well, because you know in the trailer we see like this pod crash in their back garden, you know, and we get the cute little alien being like, oh my God, I'm getting hunted, you gotta look after me. But the twist is that Beep the Meep is a murderous monster, and you shouldn't really be looking after Beep the Meep. We also again get to see the Shooty Gatwa clip where he's like, can somebody tell me what the hell is going on here? With the context now that background is not the correct background, it's fucking obvious that it's not the correct background. It's very
I'm thinking it's gonna be a scene inside the brand new TARDIS where maybe he's talking to David Tennant. Maybe we heard rumors that basically Shooty Gatwa comes in with like a mallet, starts hitting the TARDIS or something. I don't think that's gonna happen, but you know, I can see a meeting with David Tennant and Shooty Gatwa, and they have to save the day at some point.
Yeah, same. Yeah, it'd be very. I'm so hyped for him to be on screen as the Doctor. Like everything that they've been teasing with him, just him as a person going around like teasing stuff for Doctor Who. I'm so fucking excited for his era of Doctor Who to start. I cannot wait. I cannot wait.
Yeah, this whole trailer is just really fascinating to me. Again, it just feels like no time has passed since David Tennant was last the Doctor. It just feels like yesterday he regenerated. What else is there in the trailer? The little joke where Donna's mum is trying to hide the Doctor is really funny.
That one is that is a great joke.
And it's already a fucking meme. It's like the quickest Doctor Who meme that's ever memed, you know? It's already a meme 11 months from transmission.
You know, that's what I'm looking forward to quite a bit. with this new era, because when David Tennant was the Doctor, memes weren't really a thing. That but and now that he's back, Doctor Who memes as well, they've blown up, especially the past few years. Like really in Jodie's era, Doctor Who memes fucking blew up.
Evil Dan is still the
Evil
best.
Dan is the best.
Chibnall era.
It's the best Doctor Who meme. I love Evil Dan so much.
Ruth Madeley is in the trailer as well. That's a surprise. She was rumored for a long time to be the Doctor's companion. And Ruth Madeley is from Russell T Davies' show Years and Years.
Right.
And she's also in Doctor Who as the Sixth Doctor companion, Hebe Harrison. She's in the Big Finish Adventures. So her being in this episode as well. She's not obviously playing a companion. I think she's supposed to be playing a unit soldier. Well, not a soldier, but a unit person.
Yeah, because unit are back. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Did we see Unit in this trailer? We kind of get brief glimpses of Unit, I think.
We see dude. We see somebody shout "open fire," but it's unclear to see like what uniform they're in or anything like that. But it's probably safe to assume that they are Unit, because Unit are back being their army version of Russell T Davies' army unit, rather than the super spies that they were in multiplayer.
Canon, who cares? but we do know like the Wrath Warriors are practical effects mostly. Yes. There's some CGI in there with the claws opening up.
Which is how effects should be done. Practical effects with touch-up CGI make everything look so much better than just straight practical or just straight CGI. It's like the perfect blending of the two,
And we'll get to more like monsters that's been roaming around the streets of Cardiff today. We'll get to it in like the spoiler corner, because we don't want to give it away to those of you who don't want to listen to spoilers. But yeah, I like effects that are practical and CGI. Like Beep the Meep, I'm not sure how that's done. I'm not sure if it's like a puppet as well as CGI.
If you remember the set photos, there was a giant Beep the Meep. Like I don't, God knows how much maneuverability it had, or if it was just for like some eyeline stuff. But there was at least a Beep the Meep model made.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, eyeline stuff. But still, it helps a lot for like the actor trying to work alongside something. What else is in the trailer? I'm looking forward to see Donna come back. Obviously, she's going to get her memories because she goes into the TARDIS later on in the episode with Wilf. We've seen that behind the scenes footage. Yeah. A lot of people are like being concerned that Wilf is apparently going to be cut out, but Rachel Talalay, who is the director of the first special, says he's definitely going to be in it. I don't see any reason why.
I don't know why they would do that. Yeah, I don't know why they would do that either.
You go through the effort of getting a 93-year-old man on set. Why would you cut him out of the episode?
A 93-year-old man who plays a beloved character who then passes away after shooting his scenes, and you're like, fuck it. Get rid of it.
The only reason he's not in the trailer is I think he's only in like 2 or 3 scenes. He's not going to be in it a lot, but it's still going to be bittersweet to see him, I would say.
Yeah, it will be, but I'm looking forward to it.
Again, just a little concerned that it's going to be too heavily focused on the Russell T Davies era, but. David Tennant did hint that he did shoot alongside some people we don't know about yet, so
interesting. It'll be interesting if other Doctors show up, because in the 50th anniversary that was a multi-Doctor story. Where this is the 60th anniversary, it doesn't feel like a multi-Doctor story. It feels like a David Tennant story. I keep I keep forgetting that this is for the 60th anniversary.
I know, it's so strange. I don't think it's going to be like a proper multi-Doctor storyline. I think it should have got what's obviously in it. It's going to be a multi-Doctor storyline in a sense.
Yeah.
But, we just had all the classic Who Doctors appear in Power of the Doctor. Christopher Eccleston doesn't want to do it. Matt Smith doesn't want to do it, apparently. Mm-hmm. Peter Capaldi doesn't want to do it, apparently. And Jodie Whittaker just finished her run, so... John Hurt is dead, so
but we'll see. Matt Smith and Capaldi, I don't know if I believe them. I don't know if I believe them.
They're kind of wild cards, I would say.
They are.
I certainly believe Christopher Eccleston.
Yeah, he's the only one I do believe. But even like he came back for a big finish, so
Yeah.
never say never say never, But yeah, very excited for the trailer. Not long after the trailer dropped, or was it before? I don't remember how the timeline lined up.
It was before, on the 17th of December.
Yeah, so just before the trailer
like a
came
week
out,
before.
we then got a fucking costume reveal for Shutigatwa. Where not just a costume reveal for Shutigatwa, we also got a costume reveal for his companion, whose name Sunday something, got a weird name.
Ruby Sunday.
Ruby Sunday. Where she's dressed like a regular person. I didn't really think her costume reveal was all that, but Shutigatwa's costume is fucking interesting to say the least. It's so orange. It's such an orange costume.
Yeah, so it's kind of like I can't remember the name of this kind of design. It's not tartan. It's something.
It looks it's like tartanish.
It's kind of tartanish, but
Yeah.
it looks like a normal person kind of dress. It looks like a stylish kind of choice. And then you have like a bright orange jumper,
Yeah.
which kind of alludes to the Doctor's alienness.
Yeah, he's got like these like smart shoes on, these smart trousers, nice smart jacket. All of it matches, like the jacket matches the trousers, which
Yeah.
I think is fucking fantastic. I think that's hilarious.
Yeah.
I think, that is something that alludes to the Doctor's alienness as well, where he's like, I just like this pattern.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna wear this pattern,
And I wonder if this is going to be like his outfit for the entirety of like season 14, or if he's going to switch things up a little bit.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's the entirety of season 14 outfit. Still, my favorite thing about his Doctor is the mustache. We have a mustache Doctor. We've never had a mustache Doctor, and I'm just glad that we now have a Doctor that is just rocking a mustache. Brilliant.
Yeah,
I hope
definitely
it.
seems. Yep. I hope it stays. I hope he grows a beard as well.
I just want just mustache. I hope it gets thicker, because right now it's kind of like this pencil mustache. It looks kind of smart. I want a
Yeah.
really big bushy mustache. Like,
And another thing about his outfit is he has Gallifreyan tattoos on his nails as well, which is really interesting. You probably wouldn't be able to see it in like the actual episode unless you're watching in like 4K or something.
What's annoying as well is in, like, all the promo pictures, he has his hands in his pockets. Like,
But Millie Gibson and Shutigatwa did shoot a behind the scenes video that opens up on the actual nails.
yes.
And again, it gives a little bit of her chemistry, which is really nice. They shot like 2 or 3 videos that weekend, and it was really nice to see because their chemistry looks like it's going to be fantastic. It looks like we're perfectly fit together.
Yeah, it seems like they're having
Like
a lot of fun.
Like there's a video of Shutigatwa walking into his trailer and Millie Gibson is walking right behind him. And she just kind of focuses on his bum. I'm looking forward to it.
I am so looking forward to seeing these two on camera. Cannot overstate how hyped I am for his,
And also
Doctor
in this article, Russell T Davies 100% confirms we're doing a Christmas special next year. Obviously, we knew that already. It was confirmed a while back, but it's definitely being confirmed now, which is really interesting. I'm looking forward to it. I'm holding out hope that we get a good Christmas special.
Same. I just can't wait. I just can't wait for Doctor Who this year. This year we're getting Doctor Who. And
we
every
got 4
year
episodes
after
this
this,
year.
I know,
Yeah,
it's crazy.
that Russell D Davies announcing we're getting no more breaks between seasons is going to be perfect. I'm very happy.
Doctor
Even
Who
if we get
every
8
year.
episodes next year. 8 episodes next year isn't a big deal breaker to me. I'm just happy we get no gaps.
Yeah.
Hopefully Russell T Davies can keep to that promise.
Yeah, no gaps is the way it's at, because that's always the hard bit with Doctor Who. It's always been the hard bit with Doctor Who, is the gaps between seasons is always like a lifetime, and then Doctor Who comes back and you're like, yeah, and then it goes away just as quickly. Like,
when Doctor Who started with Jodie Whittaker's run, it started really strongly with season 11, and then series 12 didn't come out for next year. It came out in the season premiere was New Year's Day, and I think people watched that thinking, oh, that was a nice little one-off special, not realizing that the next episode was like a following week. So I
Yeah,
think a lot of
it's a
people
weird
just
place
didn't
for
catch on.
weird place for Doctor Who to start, though, isn't it? You know,
Yeah.
a weird time
Well,
of year to air the show.
and there's every possibility that Doctor Who is going to be back on Saturday nights, which is where it belongs, I think.
Yes, yes, it is indeed. It also makes recording a lot easier. But
So you're going to jump into the next one?
yeah, speaking of Doctor Who things, apparently there are spin-offs in development for both Daleks and Cybermen. Doctor Who spin-offs starring the show's most legendary villains are reportedly in the works as part of its international expansion in partnership with Disney+. The Daily Mirror reports that returning showrunner Russell T Davies is leading a number of who wrote this Radio Times is leading a number of supplementary shows. This is a published article. Which would build out the Doctor Who universe in a similar manner to what Marvel has done. Since the BBC forged a deal with Disney to distribute the British institution around the world, there has already been talk on Doctor Who's production budget could increase substantially. A source told the Mirror that fans can expect to see Sontarans, Weeping Angels, and Sea Devils in separate series showing what they get up to when the Doctor isn't there to stop them, along with the Daleks and Cybermen. Fucking obsession with Sea Devils recently is driving me insane.
Yeah, I'm sick of the Sea Devils this year.
During his first tenure on the show, Davies was a champion of spin-offs, successfully launching both John Barrowman's edgier Torchwood and Elizabeth Sladen's family-friendly The Sarah Jane Adventures. Companion shows slowed down after Davies' departure, with Doctor Who Confidential being scrapped shortly after and Class only lasting one season on BBC Three, but it has continued to be a supporter of the idea. Last year, prior to the announcement of his return to the show, he suggested that the Doctor Who franchise should include a Marvel-style spin-offs, which could be what he's seeking to realize if this new report is to be believed. We should be sitting here announcing the Nyssa? How would you say that? The Nyssa Adventures?
Nyssa.
The Nyssa Adventures, or
Nyssa,
the return
yeah.
of Donna Noble, he told Doctor Who Magazine and RadioTimes.com's Paul Kirkley. The whole science fiction world is so creative and so money making right now, I think your wildest dreams can come true. Recently, Doctor Who debuted an animated spin-off web series onto its YouTube channel titled Daleks, which fans have welcomed, although some have criticised it for being too small in scope. I never watched Daleks because the animation looked atrocious.
Oh god, yeah, the animation looks atrocious, and also it was tied into that whole Time Lord Victorious thing. I never got like they never released a clear indication of what order you should follow with Time Lord Victorious, or what even it was about. Like, I don't understand.
I've
what
no
the
idea.
Fuck it was
No
about.
idea, and I never will. But this is interesting. It's not surprising that we're getting more spin-off shows. I mean, even as they say in this article, when Russell T Davies was in charge of the show, he also made spin-off shows last time. So it's to be expected now with a bigger budget and a bigger audience. He's gonna want to do it again. Get even bigger shows. Shows focusing on villains is I'm like, I mean, we kind of have I would say it could be considered like a backdoor kind of pilot. In 1965, there was an episode called Mission to the Unknown, and it's unique for it being like a first ever episode to not have a Doctor or his companions, and it's just a group of survivors trying to fight off against the Daleks, which is really interesting. That is.
And I feel like that's kind of the format you could kind of take with these kind of villains. You could have each episode be about a different villain. It's kind of like an anthology kind of show.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how a Sea Devils episode would go for.
Yeah, I think an anthology show of villains works better than like a dedicated show about Daleks. Could you imagine watching a weekly show about Daleks where you have to put up with their fucking voice every week and like they're the main character? You just wouldn't watch it. It would drive you insane.
But I think Disney Plus would be a perfect place for a show like this because one episode could be like half an hour, the next episode could be like an hour and a half or something. You don't have to deal with scheduling it on BBC One. You could just have any length episode you want, which is perfect because God forbid you see a Sea Devil episode trying to fit out into 15 minutes when it needs to be 5 minutes.
Yeah. Nightmare. But I still want my other shows. I still want my Paul McGann show. Yeah. I still want like my young War Doctor show. I want these nice little spin-offs that we can actually get now, and we don't need to like just only dream about them or only have them on Big Finish. We can actually see them on screen. It's going to be.
I presume Russell T Davies has like a little Google Docs folder and he's writing down some spin-off ideas, but he's probably focusing on trying to get Series 4 series 14
Jesse.
in the can right now.
Yeah.
And
Oh
then
yeah,
he'll
no,
kind of
I cannot believe, I cannot even imagine how busy he must be. You know, since being like, oh yeah, no, I'll come
yeah.
back to Doctor Who, and then just being flooded with like all the work ever. You know.
Like, I feel like we're going to get some news, like, by summer, I would imagine, of spin-offs, of other shows. It's going to be interesting to see how this universe kind of expands, because I think Doctor Who needs more spin-off shows to kind of fill us in between. You know, these long gaps between seasons, like, say 2007 was perfect for Doctor Who, because you had Doctor Who, Torchwood, Sarah Jane Adventures. Every week almost was Doctor Who filled, and there were still gaps in between, like 2-month gaps. But yeah, we need more Doctor Who, I think.
I think Doctor Who's pretty unique when it comes to large sci-fi shows, because if you think of something like Star Trek has a billion spin-off shows, and it's always had a billion spin-off shows. There's always more Star Trek shows. You know, there's always stuff in the universe for people that are fans of the sci-fi universe. Star Wars has got a billion fucking Star Wars shows, you know, because there's loads of stories inside this universe. Doctor Who really only has the main series. There's not really, if you really want to dive into the universe of Doctor Who, there's not really so much you can do about that. It's just really the main series, which, to be fair, the universe of Doctor Who makes no fucking sense, so how would a show even work, you know, when the main show doesn't make sense? But, you know, it's just this world that you can inhabit as deeply as you can inhabit things like Star Trek, you know, when they're just as big. They've been around for just as long, you know?
Yeah. There's been some rumours that Russell T Davies is setting out to kind of like step back a little bit from Doctor Who once he kind of writes these first few seasons. He's going to become like the Kevin Feige of the universe, which would be perfect for him. And I think he could like oversee, you know, spin-off shows. I think it would really work. And with Doctor Who, you're kind of like, you're not limited to, with Star Trek, you have to have like a spaceship, and you have to go on adventures, and you have to go explore the galaxy. With Doctor Who, you could kind of have, you're kind of open to new ideas. You can have like an alien planet, and you have these characters are in like political in turmoil, and you can have so many adventures. There's so many opportunities and places to go in the Doctor Who universe, I think. Yeah,
it's going to be an exciting time. It doesn't feel real at all. And also an exciting time is our next story, which is it's also just a weird one, because it was not that long ago that we announced that they're stopping animating old episodes of Doctor Who, that they're giving that up, they're putting it on pause for a while, and here we are, like maybe 3-4 months later, with the news that they are animating 2 more episodes for the 60th anniversary. To mark the show's 60th anniversary this year, 2 stories from the 1960s are to be drawn and released on Blu-ray and DVD. They are to be William Hartnell's penultimate story, The Smugglers, and Patrick Troughton's third adventure, The Underwater Menace. Both are 4-part stories, and they were originally transmitted by the BBC before film prints were sold overseas and the original tapes destroyed. Episode 2 and 3 of The Underwater Menaces have been recovered, but only brief clips from the Smuggler story exists. An insider said fans have been delighted as the show's 4th season has been slowly restored through animated episodes. Only 10 of the 43 broadcast episodes still exist, and we're still getting to see these missing classics. Last year, the BBC ended the release of animated versions after BBC America stopped funding the restoration of early stories, but new funding has been arranged. It took no time at all to get more funding for these animated things. Fucking wild. BBC bosses plan to colorize certain stories from the Hartnell and Troughton eras for broadcast next year. It's likely to include the very first story and Unearthly Child. The animation deal does not connect to the show's tie-up with Disney+. So Disney have got nothing to do with this. The 60th anniversary will be marked on BBC One with 3 autumn specials featuring David Tennant and Ncuti Gatwa. Yeah, cool. We're getting animated shows. We're also getting recolorization. Does that mean like they're doing like a They Will Be Remembered type deal where they're just going into the old footage and digitally colorizing it?
It sounds like a UK TV Gold, or just Gold now, I think it's called.
Yeah.
Are doing like a colorization of some old comedies. I can't remember the name of it, but they're doing some colorizations. I think colorizations is an interesting thought. I don't think it works for Doctor Who though, because these classic stories are made very cheaply, and if you make them into color, it looks even more cheap. You can kind of hide the cheapness with black and white, I think. But it's interesting that this article kind of mentions the idea of colorizations in a separate paragraph. feels like that should be like the headline or something. And also with the animations, we don't mention who's funding it. It says the Daily Mirror, so you can take it all with a grain of salt, really, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I believe them as far as that they're making these to celebrate the 60th anniversary, but whether or not they've got full funding to continue pumping out stories, or whether or not it's just funding to do these two stories, because before it was like, here, we're just going to keep animating loads of series,
And also,
God knows.
the Smugglers is very famous for being a very bad episode, so I'm not sure why.
Awesome.
That's
Awesome.
one of the choices they made.
Well, why not? Even bad episodes are part of Doctor Who's legacy.
To be fair, it's most of Doctor Who. But again, these two stories that we just covered, the last two stories, are from the Daily Mirror. They're not reliable, so there's probably some truth in it.
Yeah.
But I think I feel like it's mostly bogus.
We'll see. I mean, time will tell, and the Daily Mirror won't fucking think twice about this article anyway, so. But Scott, what have we got coming up? We're changing the format a little bit of the news, aren't we?
Well, not the news, but actually we are changing the format of the news, because usually we do our what's coming up next month as like a final segment of the episode, but this time we're doing a spoiler warning just after this segment. If you don't want to listen to any theories of what's happening on set of Doctor Who, or leaks of a TARDIS, hints at certain characters returning, you can stop listening very soon. But
yeah, but so instead, we're capping this episode off with some huge spoiler deep dives. But if you don't want to listen to the huge spoiler deep dives, what have we got coming up next week?
Next week we are covering The Time Meddler, which is a William Hartnell classic. The first time he faced off against somebody of his own race, and also the first time a historical episode had some sci-fi elements, which is going to be interesting. This year we're exploring every Doctor in chronicle order.
Yeah.
So that's going to be interesting.
That's going to be fun.
Very interesting.
It is gonna be very fun. I hope when it gets to the 8th Doctor, we just watch the movie again. We do a full 5-hour podcast again, just on the movie.
God.
We just do it every year. We'll just watch the movie.
Yeah. Instead of the 8th Doctor, we're actually doing Scream of the Shalka, which is Richard E. Grant in an animated 9th Doctor
Interesting
adventure, which is going to be interesting.
Well, yeah, we'll be looking at the Time Meddler next week. That's going to be a 2-week story, is it? 13th and 20th? Yep. So that's going to be exciting times. And also, let's take a wee look at Big Finish before we jump into spoiler season. Let's see what Big Finish are coming out with. First up, we have got Doctor Who, The Dead Star Part 1 excerpt. I love Big Finish's titles. This excerct from Doctor Who, The Dead Star, it's available... Right. What is this?
Yeah,
in 1968,
it's just an excerpt.
It's just a little thing.
I mean, after that is the actual full version of the episode.
Right.
It's like a...
There we go. That's what I want to
download.
read. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Fucking Big Finish, right. So we got Doctor Who, The Dead Star. It's 1968 and the Earth has 1 month to live. The Doctor, Ben and Polly race to escape a frightening, lifeless London. But as the city folds in on itself, it is a warning of a far greater danger. Someone has misused terrifyingly advanced technology to make Earth the target of a primordial black hole, a tiny, invisible world killer. Struggling to avert the catastrophe, the Doctor must send his companions on a dangerous undercover missions. Can the Doctor and his friends prevent the planet Earth from being erased from space and time? That's a fucking cool-ass concept. That's such a sci-fi concept for Doctor Who. And this is a second Doctor story. I hate the cover. I hate the cover art. I hate the cover art so much.
It's fine for an audio novel, It's an audio novel read by Michael Troughton, who is also Patrick Troughton's son.
Michael Troughton is Michael Troughton's son. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad that Michael Troughton is playing the second Doctor, because obviously I like it keeping in within the Cat family. I think that works out well.
He apparently does a decent second Doctor as well.
Yeah. I'm not sure if I'm going to listen to this novel. How long is this novel?
It does not say.
426 minutes.
Oh,
So
Jesus.
I don't know how many pages that would have translated to, but
No idea.
yeah, I'm interested in the concept. I'm just wondering if the black hole is gonna be like an actual black hole and not like a black hole from the Three Doctors.
I
Where,
hope it is. I hope
oh,
it is like the one from the Three Doctors. That'd be great. Where it's not really a black hole at all. Like,
and also remember when in Doctor Who in 2005, Jackie Tyler talked about how in 1968 the Earth had 1 month to live.
yeah, when it was like, oh yeah, remember when we all died?
Yeah, Doctor Who canon doesn't make sense.
Everything
I guess
is
this
everything in Doctor Who happens at the same time. You know, it doesn't matter when in time it happens at the same time as everything else. So you could be like in the 1800s trying to stop the world ending, and that's happening at the exact same time as the year 2052 when the world's ending again. They're just happening simultaneously at all time. It doesn't make sense, but it's time travel.
Our next one is Doctor Who Time War 5 cast. This is an 8th Doctor audio
God, I
drama.
can't believe there was 5 Time Wars. I thought it was just the one, but
the Doctor and his great grandson Alex are back traveling the universe together. This is actually played by Sonny McGann, who is Paul McGann's actual grandson, I think, or
Awesome.
son.
no idea.
But when that universe is in the grips of a time war, the unexpected lurks around every corner. I think actually Alex is Susan's son, because sometimes the Doctor goes back to visit Susan.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like the idea of the Doctor traveling with his great grandson is cool as fuck.
Yeah.
Just the Doctor ever doing anything with people he's actually related to is cool, because he never does, like, since Susan left, never done anything with any member of his family ever. You know.
I guess that's true. His mum did look at him that one time.
Yeah,
We just covered
yeah,
that in the end
and
of
I
time
guess
part 2.
I guess Matt Smith traveled with his in-laws all the time,
And also,
with Amy and Rory.
The Doctor met her mum in Flux, and
Yeah.
then her mum died, and then
Yeah.
was spoken about again.
I want
That was great. That was some
more
great character
Doctor Who.
development.
I want more Doctor Who family stuff, and I just
Yeah.
cool things.
But yeah, this box set is famous for reintroducing the character Cass, who was in the 2013 minisode Night of the Doctor, was it called?
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone's favorite character Cass is back somehow, and this box set has 4 episodes split into 3 stories. Meanwhile, Elsewhere by Tim Foley, Vespertine by Lou Morgan, and previously Next Time by James Moran.
Previously Next
I love
Time is
these
a
titles.
fantastic title. Yeah, that's a great title.
And the description for part 1 is: the Doctor and Alex arrive on a tropical beach where something's amiss. Meanwhile, elsewhere, a desperate pilot runs for his life. Meanwhile, elsewhere, it's Casper Mazzy's first day on errand class star trip. Meanwhile, elsewhere, it's the beginning of the end of everything.
Superb.
But I'm really interested in this. I really want to get into the Time War series. Obviously, there's only 5 box sets, so it's easy enough to get into. I've actually got them all. I just got them on sale.
Nice.
It was almost like £100.
Oh Jesus. To be fair, with Big Finish pricings, that's not too bad. Getting them all on sale for less than that, you know. But next up, we've got 69. Nice. Torchwood Double Part 1. 1970s London is a place of suspicion and murder. The assassination of an entire embassy comes to the attention of Torchwood. There's a global energy crisis. There's an alien invasion. Petrochemical companies are subject to hostile takeovers by the mysterious Ness Oil. Extremely hostile takeovers. Roberta Craven was once a spy. Now she's broken, but she can still see the patterns in the world, and they're closing in around her. No idea what it's about, but the cover clearly is an Auton. It's a fucking awesome looking Auton. I've never seen an Auton look that cool. Like, it's like this like lady Auton in a very nice suit with her hands out as guns. Like, it just looks rad.
Yeah. The cover is very reminiscent of Spearhead from Space, which is also the intended point because that's the very first Auton story in 1970.
Yeah.
Very odd for a Torchwood story to do a two-parter starring Louise Jameson, who was Leela, a Fourth Doctor companion. She's not playing Leela in this story. And if John Barrowman wasn't in jail or movie-making jail or Big Finish Doctor Who jail, you know he would be front and center in the 69th story.
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah, it's strange that they're releasing part 1 and part 2 both in January, as two separate box sets, not as like one box set. They're two separate box sets. I don't get that.
Although I do like it because part 1 releases 1 week and the part 2 releases next week, which is a good way of doing it, but it still feels weird. Why is it 2 parts?
Yeah.
What does it have? I guess Roberta Craven is a member of Torchwood?
Must be.
It's very strange.
Idea. No idea. You gotta listen and find out. But I'm just gonna take.
But it doesn't really interest me.
I know. I'm gonna take part 2 as well, just because it's very short. We've also got Torchwood Double Part 2, which is a lot of people have died, and not for the first time in her life, Roberta Craven has changed sides. Traveling the world with a dead man, she's negotiating world peace, or is she starting a world war? The Autons are coming, and Torchwood won't stop them. So slight spoilers, I guess, with what happens to Roberta Craven. She changes whatever side she's on in part 1. But this is more Autons. This time they're at an oil rig in the cover. God knows. The Autons never really interest me super.
Yeah.
You know, but we'll see how it goes.
The problem with the Autons is you have to have like a leader controlling them, whether it's like the master or
the giant plastic thing. Yeah.
Because obviously the Autons don't have any independence. They just kind of walk around silently.
Yeah.
They're not the best villain for Doctor Who. They're more like a villain so he can introduce other characters or concepts. Like, introducing the show Rose with the Autons was perfect because you don't need to focus on the Autons.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, our next box set is Class, Secret Diary of a Rondian Prince, which is... I don't know how many Class box sets there's been.
No idea. No idea. A lot. There's been a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4. This could be 5.
Yeah, I think this is number 5. Jesus Christ. But Big Finish don't have the rights to do after the show, so they can't conclude any cliffhangers or anything. So this is like between episodes 4 and 5 or something.
That's mental. How could you have the right? How can you have the rights to do Class audio dramas and not have the rights to continue the canon?
I don't know. I guess it's because the BBC are like, maybe we'll do something with Class someday, and we don't want to contradict what's written in Big Finish or anything like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure BBC's chomping at the bit to continue Class. It was such a big hit.
Apparently this is only one story though, which is interesting. The description reads, "What's it like being an alien stranded on a strange planet in the aftermath of a genocide? What would you think of Earth's culture? What's it like falling in love with a human when you only met one just the other week? Who is the Doctor?" Because Peter Capaldi guest stars in the pilot episode of Class. Which is, we're covering that this year, which is going to be interesting.
Interesting. That will be. I've never seen Class. I completely missed it.
Class was okay. It feels too young adult novel for me. That's the only problem. It feels like there's a good concept in there somewhere, but if season 2 was made, it could have been a great show, but season 2 was never made, so...
Yeah.
And it ended on a cliffhanger, which has... It has a lot of building on lore of Doctor Who that kind of expands the lore of the Weeping Angels and all that, but it's never acknowledged in Doctor Who itself, which is weird.
Yeah. They're also doing a limited CD pressing of 1,000 copies of this box set. So if that's something that interests you,
oh god,
you can buy that if you want. I don't know why anybody would.
Yeah, you better rush quickly because
it's going to sell out. Yeah, they're going to sell out so fast. We've also got 11, Diary of Riversong Series 11, Friend of the Family. I love titling for Big Finish. River Song decides to investigate a temporal anomaly after a Luna University expedition makes some odd discoveries in an old Earth house. Pages of her own diary with an inscrutable riddle written across them. However, her investigation goes badly wrong when she's transported back into the past of the house and gets trapped within its grounds. The house is the home of the Mortimers, and with a limited ability to travel back and forth in time across 80 years and multiple generations, she finds herself witnessing key moments in their family history. If she wants to escape, the words in her diary are not the only riddle she has to solve, but not everyone in the house will survive what's coming, and not everyone is on her side. This is a 4-story box set, it seems. You know,
Yeah,
River
it's
Song,
a full story as well, which is interesting.
River Song in a spooky house where no one's really sure what's going on. Seems fun. The cover's pretty cool. It's a fun idea for a cover. I don't know how well it's executed. As far as like a Photoshop goes, it's like River Song above this like really colorful house and these like broken shards of glass with random people's faces on it. But and there's like a hologram man. There's a lot going on in this picture, but it's fun.
The concept reminds me of that one Ninth Doctor story where it's the New Year's episode where there's some timey-wiminess going on inside of a house and he keeps going back and forth in time.
Yeah.
This sounds interesting. Again, I haven't listened to any of the River Song series, but it feels like this is like a good jumping on point. It feels like each box set is a standalone story, which is interesting. Actually, I probably won't listen to this. There's too much Big Finish.
There is too much Big Finish. It's the hardest thing. But out of these releases, Scott, which one interests you the most?
Definitely Doctor Who Time War 5 Cass.
Yeah?
Just because I like the idea of Paul McGann dealing with Time War and trying not to get involved with it. Obviously, he will eventually get involved with it.
Yeah.
But not as Paul McGann. This is just before Night of the Doctor as well. So this is like the latest, the latest point in the Eighth Doctor's life, which is interesting.
That is interesting.
But yeah, I need to listen to the other 4. That's like 4 times 4. It's 16 more episodes I need to listen to before I get into this one.
Jesus.
And the problem I find with listening to these audio dramas is I don't like sitting there in a room and just.
I know what you're gonna. Yeah, like what you're gonna do. Like what you do. Like I usually listen to it when I'm like out on the bus or something like that. But then I end up getting distracted by life around me.
Same here.
You know, and I end up zoning out.
I tried to listen to a Ninth Doctor story while I was on a walk, and I just started looking at dogs and shit, and I'm like, holy shit, I need to listen to a story.
Yeah.
It's so easy to get distracted, and it's so hard to get into these. It's so hard to get into these box sets, man.
It is. I really want to. There's so much stuff. But yeah, I think I'm the same. I think that's the box set I'm the most interested in out of all of them. But Scott, that leads us into our next segment. If you are still listening and you do not want any spoilers for or any rumors or any of the like set leaks or anything, you can stop listening to the episode here, and we will see you next week with whatever the fuck episode we said, the Time Meddler Part 1.
Time Meddler. Yeah.
If you are interested, however, welcome to the spoiler section, as we are going to be looking at some rumors, some leaks, and some fucking Doctor Who shit. It's going to be a cool time. And we're kicking it off immediately with Russell T Davies hinting at Susan's return on Instagram. This was an Instagram post that the Doctor Who page made saying throwback to the first big goodbye, which was the goodbye to Susan, to which Russell T Davies left a little comment being like, whatever happened to her? Oh, whatever did happen to her, Russell T Davies? You're a man that can answer that question. This is what I like about Russell T Davies, is he understands social media.
Yeah.
You know,
just the idea of Susan returning will be the conversation on Doctor Who Twitter for like 2 days straight. And that's enough like information that we can just flick our lips at. I can imagine Susan being announced in like 2 months or something. But, the 60th anniversary is coming up. It's a perfect time to bring back Susan. You were not going to do it again with the 70th anniversary. She's 82 years old.
Yeah, you're running out of time. Really running out of time here. And with the Doctor, like the concept of this being the Doctor's lost a sense of identity and he doesn't really know who he is anymore. What better way to try and regain that sense of identity than going back into your past, revisiting Donna, revisiting your own fucking granddaughter who you were just like, bye, fuck you,
And bringing her back, she was in the very first episode, and she was in she was in all of the first season and some of the second season. She's the oldest companion that still hasn't come back. You can't get you can't get Barbara back because the actress died. You can't get Ian back properly because he sadly has dementia at the moment.
It's at the moment, yeah, like they're gonna cure it. Yeah, no, it was mental. It's mental that we've got Ian back before we got Susan back.
Oh god,
that's insane.
So happy to see him
I know.
back,
Yeah, that's crazy.
But one of the famous clips of Doctor Who, classic Doctor Who, is that speech that William Hartnell makes at the end of the Dalek.
It is such a good speech. Yeah, it is such a good speech and comes out of fucking nowhere. Like.
God, I just watched the Daleks Invasion of Earth for the first time in a long time. And basically, their flirting is they hit each other with a piece of fish for a bit.
Yeah.
They kind of like roll around on the grass.
It's really...
The Doctor's like, yeah.
Bye.
I'm just going to leave you here with a man you just met in the post-apocalyptic Earth.
Future, yeah.
I actually got After Daleks, which is a storyline which follows Susan straight after the events of that episode. I'm curious if they're going to address it because it's a Big Finish audio drama.
That would be interesting.
I'm very curious.
I'm
Also, if she comes back, are we going to acknowledge the fact that the Eighth Doctor came back for her?
If she
in Big Finish,
is also the Doctor going to travel into the future? The post-apocalyptic Dalek ruined future, and are they going to make that solid canon, or is it going to be like Susan's timey-wimeyed herself back into the past and she's an old lady now? Like what's going to happen?
But yeah, Russell T Davies on Twitter is great because he knows social media. Like for an old man, he knows social media. He's 60.
Yeah, Twitter and Instagram. It's like his Instagram is fantastic. It's so good.
I love those pictures he takes where it's a selfie and he's in front of the camera, but behind him is like a picture of himself. And sometimes the picture of himself moves closer to him.
Yeah,
meaning
that's great.
There's going to be big news coming soon.
I like the ones of his forehead with his glasses on his forehead when he's just looking out into the background somewhere. Like.
God, I am so excited for Russell T Davies coming back because he likes revealing secrets. He likes letting us know how the magic is made. I'm looking forward to know all the behind the scenes gossip and all that soon enough. I'm looking forward to just hearing all the behind the scenes. I'm so excited. It's gonna be great.
It's gonna be a great time. We've also got some new set images that got released yesterday or today or something. And that is off what seems to be like a shop front or a campaign front for Albion. Bigger, better, bolder Britain. It seems to be like a political movement going across Britain, and I'm sure it's not inspired by any real life things, but it is it's simultaneously such a great idea, some great designs, and the most Doctor Who font for a fake political company I've ever seen in my life. That Albion font is so Doctor Who.
And, obviously this is going to be all about Brexit. There's no escaping Brexit. And obviously Doctor Who needs to be political, and I think this is going to be an interesting way of doing politics. I wonder what kind of sci-fi twist for it is going to be. Is the hate of foreigners going to be actually hate of aliens?
Yeah.
And how does the Doctor fit into that?
Also,
now that he is a black man from Wanda.
We also get in canon aliens in Doctor Who again. Are people going to remember aliens? Are they going to be like, oh my god, oh my holy fuck, we've been getting invaded for the last 14 years and nobody's been saying fucking shit,
Yeah. And also I would say some of Russell T Davies' satire is a bit on the nose because Albion is apparently an old way of saying Britain. So it's a bit on the nose.
Albion is like medieval times way of saying Britain. It's also the the land, like have you ever played the video games Fable?
No.
So Fable are a fantastic set of video games, absolutely amazing set trilogy. That's set in like England, quote unquote, but you're in Albion, is what it's called, and everyone like talks with a British accent. They're all going around like this, aren't they? Like it's such an amazing RPG series. But yeah, no, Albion is old timey English for England. It's very cool.
And letting people walk around and seeing this on set, they could have covered it up with like fake walls or something. Could have hidden this from the public, but the fact that they would let the public see images like this just leads to speculation, which leads to Doctor Who being talked about for like days upon end.
Yep, gets people excited.
Perfect marketing.
It gets people excited that we're already excited for Doctor Who, because if you're not interested or you're the most casual fan of Doctor Who, you do not give a fuck about this and you're not going to look for it. Because like it's like people were just discovering that David Tennant was the Doctor, or people that I was like, we've been talking about this all year. How are you just finding out that he's the Doctor now? Whereas people like us that are looking for Doctor Who news, that want something to talk about to get ourselves excited. Russell T Davies is like, haha, here's a poster, and we go fucking mental, like.
And I do love it. Like, I was even some memes because you can see a reflection of
KFC.
KFC. Like, I was even memes from just walking around locations. It's really funny, and you can see like people in business suits because a few weeks ago they did a casting call for business-like people. You can see them walking around with the Albion branding on their lapel, which is. Yeah, obviously it's political, and Doctor Who has never been political before.
Yeah, no, never been political before.
Just today we can see a slug creature just walking around Cardiff.
Yeah, just a giant slug thing with loads of little arms. It's a cool as fuck looking monster. And I really... I know they're shooting it right now, so the chances of me getting cast as an extra in Doctor Who are so slim, and to almost not a point. But I've done extra work before. I could go to Cardiff. Russell, just hit me up. I want to see a giant slug. I want to see a giant slug guy. Like.
But yeah, just the fact they could have obviously closed down this street and just hidden it, but the fact that we see like an alien slug monster, it gives nothing away about the plot.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just cool to see, and it's also another practical effect. It could have just been all CGI, but the fact we built this costume is pretty fucking rad. We don't get a clear look of it in this image, but it does look pretty fucking rad. I'm looking forward to see what this is.
It's gonna, and watch it be nothing. Watch it just be like an alien in the background. Like, watch it be absolutely nothing for the plot at all. In much more exciting leaks, much more like fucking oh my god mental leaks as well, is the new TARDIS has supposedly been leaked. Take every leak with a grain of salt, especially leaks like this where they're not off a set and it seems to be much more off like a computer image.
But there was like a location footage of it being on set,
there is one.
I couldn't find the actual video because it's been deleted by now. Obviously BBC don't want it up on the internet, but there is still images released of it. But it's an interesting looking TARDIS. I can't save my full judgment on the TARDIS look without it being actually on screen.
Just basing it off that one photo that we've got here, I really like the weird UFO almost likeness of that centerpiece, where it's this huge like cylinder, and I love the TARDIS command center's back. It's no longer just a giant shitty crystal with bigger crystals looking at. I fucking hated that TARDIS. It looks
There's
like the TARDIS
like a
again.
Jukebox. There's also a jukebox on
the random jukebox is the one thing throwing me for a loop, because we've got it's like the classic Who white TARDIS with the random white circles, and there's just a jukebox, and it feels out of place. But maybe they haven't finished deciding what they want, because this image here is like a computer mock-up of the inside of the TARDIS, and maybe they're like deciding what do we want inside to populate it, because the issue that classic Who TARDISes fell into is they were huge and white and empty. There was nothing in them. You know, whereas more modern Who TARDISes are a lot smaller. They're still big, but they're smaller and have stuff in them. Like David Tennant's one was just small and orange. Capaldi's one had the library and the books and the blackboard and stuff in it. You know, and Matt Smith's just had shit everywhere in giant weird circles. Whereas maybe this one, they're like, okay, big, white, classic Who, but we need to fill it. Let's stick a jukebox in. Fuck it. You know?
And also, you know, with the budget increasing, I'm sure we're going to see much more of the TARDIS than we've ever seen before.
Oh,
like
yeah.
sometimes we do episodes where we're exploring inside the TARDIS, like one episode Inside the TARDIS.
Journey to the Center of the
anything about
TARDIS,
that
or whatever the fuck it was called.
Yeah. Do you remember that episode? I don't.
Yeah, I do. I remember it vaguely enough where like the plot was like there was like people trapped in the heart of the TARDIS that were like fire zombies. Yeah, it was weird. It was a weird episode. I remember not kind of digging it as much as I wanted to because I wanted it to just be an adventure exploring the TARDIS, and instead it was this weird zombie adventure. But like,
what if
it's probably fine.
What if we open up stories where Ruby is like, you know, taking a dip in the pool, in the TARDIS pool, or she's in bed or something?
Yeah.
Like, you know,
I actually see the TARDIS more.
Yeah, like the Fifth Doctor, I would say we saw most of the TARDIS when we've ever seen before. Like the Doctor just wandering through corridors. We see the bedrooms and all that, but it's very basic shit, you know. Like the walls are just all white. But like, I would like to see a more homely side to the TARDIS.
That's why I think that's why I love Paul McGann's TARDIS so hard.
Yes,
because it's just like a living room. It's like a huge living room in a mansion, you know. And he's also we explore his TARDIS a bit, where he's got that weird random room where all the plot happens, you know. But like the Eye of the fucking Storm or the TARDIS, wherever the fuck it was.
Eye of Harmony.
But like his main console room where it's just like an old Victorian house, the best looking TARDIS ever. I want that aesthetic to come back, you know.
It's such a shame they wasted most of the budget on that TARDIS.
But it was worth it. It was worth it because it was stunning, absolutely stunning.
I'm just waiting to see what this looks like on screen. I can't judge it fully, but it looks cool. You can tell this is by the same designer as 2005's Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It looks very much like that movie.
Yes.
I'm just holding out to hope that we get to see a more homely TARDIS eventually. I would like that.
I'm sure we will.
We'll see. We'll see.
I'm sure we will. But that is all the spoilers, the rumors, stuff that we've got, which does mean that we are now at the end of our episode properly. So if you have made it this far and you listen to our spoiler talk, what has got you most excited about Doctor Who? What of these leaks have got you chomping at the bit for more? What do you think about these new TARDIS leaks? Did you even look at them, or are you just listening to our descriptions? Send us an email at whowatcheswhopod@gmail.com, and we will read it out at the end of next month, or maybe the end of this month. The end of this month, and end of this month in our news podcast. That's whowatcheswhopod@gmail.com, or leave a comment on YouTube. Do whatever it is that you need to do to get a message to us. Send us a message on Facebook, even at Who Watches Who, and we will find it and read it out on the podcast. This podcast is also available in video form on YouTube at Who Watches Who. Hello. It's also available in audio form wherever you listen to podcasts. That could be Apple Podcasts, Podcast Addict. There's an RSS link in the feed. There's also links to every other podcast website that hosts us. You just send us there, leave us 5 stars. It helps out the podcast a crap ton. You can find us on Twitter at Watches Doctor, on Facebook at Who Watches Who. You can find me on Twitter at Cloth223, and I think that is all the plugs I have to do now. There's so many. This year is big year.
Twitch?
Twitch, something orange, twitch.tv/something orange. I am back streaming right now. I am streaming Jedi Fallen Order to get myself hyped up for the brand new Star Wars game, and it has been a fantastic time so far. So jump onto those streams if you are available. I don't know when I'm fucking doing them, just kind of whenever. But yeah, I think that's all the plugs. 2023 is going to be a big year for the podcast. We're going to try and really amp up our social media presence and our advertising. So get sharing this shit around.
Big year for the podcast, big year of the show. We haven't even discussed what other potential shows we could get from Doctor Who this year.
Imagine.
Like documentaries, one-off specials. I'm just very curious about what's what's going to be released to us, and we're going to find out. We're going to discuss it every month. It's going to be interesting.
It's going to be exciting. What's going to be even more exciting as well is if we can get our podcast to where we want it to be, where we're doing it full time, and then we can actually talk and have shows about the spin-off shows that are coming for this. We can talk, and we have got plans for a Patreon that are fantastic. Where we're not just talking about Doctor Who, we're talking about other shows, other movies, whatever the fuck. Just we need to get our listener base up a tiny smidge more. So let's work on that. Woohoo!
If you just like one episode of our show, recommend it to a friend. Even if you're just like one episode and you're like, oh yeah, that's a good episode. The rest are shit, but that's a good episode. Recommend it. Give us 5 stars. Give us a like. Punch that subscribe button in the face.
Oh yeah, do all the social media things that encourage growth on pages. I have no idea how it works. It seems like magic and random. But yes, thank you very much, and we will see you next week with the Time Meddler. Bye bye.